I call this meeting of the Cleveland Heights University Heights City School District Board of Education to order. Mr. Gaynor.
Mr. Coble?
Here.
Ms. Pepler?
Here.
Mr. Register?
Here.
Mr. Silverman?
Here.
Mr. Zucker?
Here.
Okay, welcome everyone. We're going to start this evening with awards and recognitions.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Tonight, I am proud to begin our final board meeting of the year by recognizing many students and educators for their recent accomplishments. First, we have a number of award-winning student artists to recognize tonight, both from the elementary level and the high school. I will read the names of all the students, and for those who are present, when your name is called, would you please come forth and we will receive a small gift from our board president, Nancy Pepler, to show our appreciation for your great work. So you'll receive a Tiger Nation lunch bag. After we receive your lunch bag, please remain standing before the assembly so we can take a group photo at the end. And so again, when I call your name, please bring your artwork up if you have it. So beginning with our elementary school honorees, we have from Canterbury art teacher Ida Bergson, has provided the names of the following students who received awards for their work. First grader Sophie Lane, she received a Red Ribbon Ohio Art Education Association Youth People's Art Exhibit. Is Sophie here? Okay. Gwendolyn Casala, second grader, Ohio Art Education Association Youth Art Month Exhibit. Is Gwendolyn here? There she is. Let's give her a hand. Helena Duffy, third grade, Best of Show, Case Western Reserve University Youth Art Month Exhibit. Emma Napower, second grade, third place award, Case Western Reserve University Youth Art Month Exhibit. Josephine Napower, fourth grade, second place award, Case Western Reserve Youth Art Month Exhibit. Okay. And joining these young artists are our Heights High students who won awards in 2 area competitions. So with the following students of art class, Claire Rax, please, Laura Skidham and Nancy Eisenberg, please come forward. Are they here? Okay. Okay, so, yep, I want to. So we'll have the students who come stand by your teachers as well. Hannah Smith with a Gold Key Award. Is Hannah here? Okay. Nigel Jones, honorable mention, Caldwell County Scholastics Art Competition. Okay. Brenna Kennedy, Red Ribbon, Cleveland Clinic Expressions Art Competition. Michelle Posh, I think I saw Michelle, Red Ribbon, Cleveland Clinic Expression Art Competition. And if we have Canterbury's art teacher, is she here tonight? If she would please come forward as well, Ms. Bergson. Okay. And finally, we have several high school students who awarded prizes in the 11th District Congressional Art Contest this year for the state of Ohio, including a grand prize winner with the following students of Ms. Skidhan and Hillary Nemechek. Please come forward. Miles Hawkins, third place, computer-generated artwork. Courtney Lynham, first place, drawing. Charlotte Shoemaker, honorable mention, computer-generated artwork. Simone Celeste, second place, computer-generated artwork. And our grand prize winner, Alice Genegro. Is Alice here? There she is. So students, congratulations on being awarded for your visual talent and skills. Let's give our students, artists, a round of applause, and to their teachers as well. So we have several educators in our district who have recently been recognized for their communities and educational leadership for their outstanding service. For those who are present tonight, when I read your name, please come forward to receive your award from Nancy Pepler. Stand before the assembly and take a photo at the end. In April, our curriculum director, who I don't think is present tonight, Mr. Sandy Womack, was named the Canton Local Hero for the Ali Residential Services. According to the award board, the honorees who have worked hard to bridge the gaps between youth and adults and promote healthy lifestyles by way of positive choices. Mr. Womack has worked for decades to improve schools and has written a book about his life and the importance of perseverance. Also, Heights High School teacher, math teacher, Joyce Bokovich. Was Joyce? She was just here. Yes, Bukovic, thank you. She received the Outstanding Mathematics Professional Award given by the Greater Cleveland Council of Teachers of Mathematics. She teaches AP Stats and Probability Stats and Modeling. She is also the chair of the math department and has been with the district 24 years. She was given this award because of her teaching style, breadth of knowledge, and fantastic attitude. And our last honoree, I'll call her name, is Holly Munoz, she's not here tonight, but I wanted to recognize that she was nominated for the Outstanding Educator Achievement Award given by the Educational Service Center of Cuyahoga County. She was nominated by the Director of Student Services, Dr. Jeff Johnson, for her inspiring leadership and dedication to our students with special needs. So we're proud of these educators, and it was always a joy to see their hard work. Not only in the district, but outside organizations as well. So let's give them all a round of applause. So Roxborough Middle School. So our recognition continues. We're thrilled to announce that we now have 2 IB authorized schools in our district. Roxborough Middle School was recently named an International Baccalaureate School. So to receive an IB certification is no easy feat. Roxborough Middle School began this application process to become an IB World School 4 years ago. After a school applies for candidacy, the IB organization works with the school to instill the program structure for and train all the staff. The program emphasizes action in the local community while understanding the larger world context in which our students live and function. If you recall, Roxborough Elementary was also given this certificate 1 year ago today. Principal Patrick McNichols, if you come forth, and our IB coordinator, Ms. Melissa Garkar, is she here? You have a bunch of teachers, and the team, please step forward, come on. And just give them a round of applause. There you go. And I have to say, when people from the IB organization came, they were so impressed with Roxborough team and their staff for the way they had their planners organized and their teamwork. So again, congratulations, all of you. Job well done. And finally, we recognize and celebrate tonight our dedicated staff who have been with us for many years and who will leave behind a rich legacy as they retire from this district. The teachers and classified staff, we salute you tonight, who you've poured your souls into your work and have positively impacted the lives of many Tiger Nation students. I would now hand the honor of recognizing our staff and district employees over to Paul Lombardo, our Director of Human Resources. Paul.
All right, welcome and good evening, everyone. Before I start recognizing our retirees, I do want to thank Kim Ehrlich in HR. He's right over there. And Kathan, yes. I think she does a wonderful job. And Kathan Bricker in Communications, they organized, they put all the programs together, and the retirees will be receiving plaques. They also assembled all the plaques today, so they worked very hard to make this a special evening. I also like to thank Bonnie Merritt for the great appetizers, as they always do a nice job for us. We are here tonight to honor those who are retiring from this great district. Please accept this token of our appreciation in the form of a plaque and public recognition. Please come up when your name is called and receive the plaque from President Nancy Pepler and also Superintendent Dr. Dixon. And please stand and you will have a photo at the end. All right. The first person is James Reed III, Cleveland Heights High School Renaissance Principal. And he's been with the district 27 years. Next is Flor Argueta Gomez, who's from Cleveland Heights High School, Spanish teacher, been with the district 29 years. Carol Clardy from Cleveland Heights High School, Career Tech Ed, and has been with the district 27 years. Judith Deal from Boulevard Elementary, been with the district 28 years. Rena Ellis, Garrity Professional Development School, been with the district 16 years. Michael Fiala from Cleveland Heights High School, school psychologist, 25 years with the district. Richard Gulick, Roxborough Middle School, been with the district 34 years. Lynn Kittredge, Monticello Middle School, been with the district 24 years. Kim Lash, Cleveland Heights High School guidance counselor, been with the district 24 years. Ellen Liss, Canterbury Elementary School, been with the district 29 years. Craig McGahee, Cleveland Heights High School, been with the district 15 years. Therese McGarry, Monticello Middle School, been with the district 30 years. Elizabeth Miller, Oxford Elementary School, been with the district 40 years. Margaret O'Malley, Roxborough Middle School, been with the district 26 years. Sharon Riley, Canterbury Elementary School, been with the district 29 years. Linda Smith, Oxford Elementary School, been with the district 23 years. Linda Spizak, Cleveland Heights High School, been with the district 15 years. Barbara Townsend, Delisle Option Center, Cleveland Heights High School, been with the district 30 years. Charlene Warner, Roxborough Middle School, been with the district 23 years. Sandra Zabukovic, Canterbury Elementary School, been with the district 11 years. Reza Zvankina, Garrity Professional Development School, been with the district 14 years. Hazel Bell, Boulevard Elementary, been with the district 6 years. The next name, if we can have a moment of silence, Terry Zagarsky. We were saddened to learn that Ms. Zagarsky passed away on May 27th. Ms. Zagarsky served as the district's transportation department as a bus driver for 27 years. We offer her loved ones our deepest condolences. And finally, Verna Stanford, bus driver, been with the district 33 years. Now, is there anyone that I missed for retirees? Okay, very good. Now that you are retiring, continue to make the difference in the lives of people you come in contact with each day. It is a true honor to be an educator, and I'm very proud of all the retirees tonight who are being honored for their dedicating their careers for making a difference in the lives of students. Again, congratulations.
So thank you again, Paul, and thank you to all our retiring staff. You will be missed, and your legacy will live on in our schools and in the student lives you have touched. So this concludes the recognitions for the evening.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations. I'm going to give folks just a minute to leave if they choose. About what? About a what? Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. ask them to. Okay, everyone, we'd like to get started with the meeting, so if you want to visit out in the hall, we'd appreciate it. We don't have requested audience, but we have a few members of the community who have signed up to make statements from the audience. And so when I call your name, if you could come forward to the microphone here, you'll have 5 minutes to speak. We'll give a 30-second, I'll try to get your attention and give you a 30-second warning if you get close to that time. So first we have Kevin Hoffman, who is asked to speak regarding changes to the preschool program.
I was, pardon me, realized I don't enjoy speaking in front of people.
That's okay, you'll do fine.
So I am here, take me a second, to speak regarding the changes that were implemented for the preschool program effective the beginning of next school year. Very disappointed in the board the fact that changing in program they believe was not necessary to be discussed at the board. I like to think I'm a practical person and realize that I probably won't agree with every decision you make. It's a reasonable thought, but as a government entity, I believe you should consult the people in which your decisions affect before making those decisions. My daughter attends Garrity, and I think the program is amazing. Really don't like talking in front of people. But the program is amazing, one, because it's offered not only to enrich the lives of the students, but also to give them that camaraderie that school gives. The changes that are being affected come the year is to align itself more with the district. The program is a private entity, or how I understand the program, so if I'm incorrect, please pardon my change. Paid for by the parents who send their child to the program. The program does an amazing job, first of all. I think the program's awesome. My daughter has thrived. That's the only reason I'm here. I could very easily take my daughter out and go to another program. Childhood education, especially early, sets a child up to be successful in life. And all studies and talking to the various people I talked to throughout the Board of Education, the Garrity Preschool, and the administration, everybody's in agreement with that. Changing the program and then still assuming it is a private program funded by the people who attend it, I think blurs the lines. It was very easily seen where the division between a district program and the Garrity Preschool was. I paid to go. They went summers, they went during breaks. Very, very simple to see a distinction between the two. Now that the program will be continue to be housed on a district building, using district employees, and now align itself with the district calendar, I don't see that line. It is very hazy. Also, when requesting data surrounding the financial viability of the program, it was very clear that the way the data was gathered showed that the program was losing money. I would question, based on discussions with various people through the program, are we capturing the data right? You're capturing the data at the unit level, therefore at the building. You can't tell me that a program, whether it be a full or a part-day program, is working and is also, whether it's making money or losing money, if you don't look at the programs in and of themselves. There are two buildings that house the program, one at Garrity and one at Noble.
Just, it's about 5 minutes.
Okay, last second.
Yep, absolutely.
One at Garrity and one at Noble. If it really is losing money, how are we analyzing both the full day and part-day preschools in one unit and as though they are at the same facility? If it's not viable, why are we having two buildings? Why do we have two locations? I just very disappointed in the fact that those changes were made, and I thought the board should hear from someone.
Thank you. All right. Akash Bartlett, would like to speak on the position of the tech director at Cleveland Heights High School.
So many of you have been to a production put on by members or students of the Cleveland Heights district, whether it's the school musical, whether it's a vocal music concert, whether it's an orchestra concert, talent show, you name it. And stage crew is the fundamental backbone for all activities that happen in the auditorium. Nearly every program in the auditorium is supported by the stage crew, whether it's just a minor school assembly, which requires a microphone, to the musical, which requires a full set, microphones, lighting design, everything. The position of technical director has been terminated for next year because of budget concerns. While I understand there are budget concerns and that cuts need to be made, I disagree that it should be made in the position of the technical director, because there's nobody else in the district who knows how to run an auditorium like we need. We need somebody who knows how to do lights, sound, and sets, and there's nobody else who can do that. Even small jobs are complicated. For example, just setting up a microphone wires requires the whole soundboard to usually be set up, and it takes skill. It's not an unskilled job. Many are not aware of the work that we do. We put in 4,500 hours of work this year. So to raise awareness for this, we started a petition. It has 485 supporters. It's been going on for 5 days. And everybody who signed it is connected to the district in some way, whether they are an alumni, community members, staff, or students. Many of the letters we have received letters that are long as 2 pages. We have received comments that are short as a couple sentences, but everybody who has signed it agrees that cutting the technical director is not the way to go for budget cuts. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Leslie Karplansky from the Heights Coalition for Public Education.
Thank you so much, Board. I come bearing gifts on behalf of the Heights Coalition for Public Education. It's not a summer blockbuster, but it is a DVD copy of our 3rd and final forum. I know many of you were able to attend earlier forums. I think there was a scheduling conflict for this last one.
Yeah.
This DVD has it all. It's informative. We heard from Dan Babechko, who's a University Heights resident, 20-year veteran of elementary school classroom, who's currently studying the effects of testing on elementary students for his PhD dissertation. and he shared with us information on the reliability, validity of standardized testing, and the narrowing of curriculum. We also heard from our own Josephine Shelton Towns, who's a social worker at Fairfax and Rocks Middle School. And she spoke to some of the social and emotional concerns that this onslaught of testing, the effect that it's having on our kids. There'll be poignant moments in this DVD. You'll hear comments from students all across the district, different ages, how they're feeling about this testing, what it really is doing to them. There'll be, depending on your outlook, either some humor or some horror, as you can watch a room full of adults trying to decipher the third grade Park reading test. The last time I tried to take that test that evening. The last time I had taken a test was when I was taking my comprehensive exams for my English PhD. I couldn't understand what they were asking, and it was a third grade test. It seemed as though it had been written in another language and then poorly rewritten in English. If you haven't taken the Park assessment, those of you in the group, you can pull it up online. It's an eye-opener. I encourage any and all of you to spend an hour sitting, you know, in the seat of a 10-year-old. So again, we realize over these 3 forums reaching hundreds of people across the community and actually beyond, standardized testing is a really complicated, really difficult issue. There's a lot to unpack, but the coalition is still out there. Testing season gladly is over for a couple months, but there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of passion, and we want to see this district succeed, and we all want to work with you and as a community to find ways to solve the problem of standardized testing. Thank you.
Next, Gary Cantor on the topic of no tax increase in November.
Good evening.
Hello.
I am Gary Cantor, Heights High class of 1975. I live on Cummings Road in Cleveland Heights. And if I close my eyes hard enough, I can imagine myself tossing a tennis ball in one direction and watching it land in University Heights. And if I toss one in the other direction, I can see it landing in South Euclid. My remarks tonight are directed to the 5 members of the Cleveland Heights University Heights Board of Education, who are our representatives. Each of you was duly elected by the voters of this school district. These elections took place at the ballot box, not on Facebook, not by campaign donations, not by indecipherable lawn signs, not at coffee houses, not by mailings or robocalls, not by campaign committees, at the ballot box. The one and only place that counts in this country. You all chose to put a 5.9 mil school operating levy on the ballot for May 5th, 2015. You did this of your own free will, without coercion or threat. You and you alone decided that was what was best for the district and the community you serve. And on May 5th, 2015, at the ballot box, the community you have sworn to represent overwhelmingly voted against the proposed school tax increase. In fact, for analysis purposes, if one removes the votes from Cleveland Heights wards 1, 2, and 3, that is, the echo chamber of Roxborough and Fairmont, which you, your friends, and your neighbors inhabit, the district's voters in Cleveland Heights wards 4 and 5, South Euclid, and University Heights rejected the tax increase by a margin greater than 2-1 against. Yet, just minutes after the final results were made public, this was the district's superintendent's response as reported by Cleveland.com. Quote, to Lisa Dixon, superintendent of the Cleveland Heights University Heights Schools, said the district will return to the ballot in November after voters defeated a 5.9 mil tax increase Tuesday night. Dixon said the school district has no choice. The voters of the district have stated overwhelmingly that they are against the school levy tax increase. They spoke this in the one and only legitimate forum that matters, at the ballot box. The very same way you were each elected to represent us. These voters, whom I stand with proudly, are no longer the school district's opposition. Today, we represent the school district's majority. There is no way such a resounding majority vote against the tax increase can possibly be interpreted as put it on the ballot again in November. It simply can't be done. No means no. I call on each of you board members to honor the oath you swore to as the duly elected representatives of the communities you serve and not return any school operating levy tax increase to the ballot in November. Ms. Pepler, do I have about a minute left?
Yep. 55.
If any of you believe I have represented any misinformation and flat-out lies, using Mr. Gaynor's words, as posted on the district's website, please bring them to my attention using these remaining moments so that I may respond accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Charles Drake. The topic just says address the board.
Thank you. I'd like to probably give some of my time back to Mr. Cantor because he's doing a better job than I planned on. I'm a member of the class of 1970. But since then, this board has passed 13 levies that still exist to fund current operating expenses. You have one library levy that is due to expire in 2025, and you have another outrageous levy for building improvements that doesn't expire for another 38 years. You have 5 schools whose current students are eligible for the education choice scholarships that the state of Ohio offers. Do you notify each of those families that they are eligible for that scholarship? Those schools are Boulevard, Canterbury, Garrity, Noble, Oxford, and Monticello Middle School. If you got your act together and notified those parents, they could get their $4,200 and move their kids to another option that may better educate their children than you are providing those services today. I agree, you should not go after another levy increase in November. What you should do is renegotiate the contracts of the superintendent and Mr. Gaynor, who, in addition to the superintendent's $157,000 compensation, receives a rebate of 1.5% of her Medicare taxes, 12% of her contribution to the state teachers or ERS retirement plan, a 10% tax-deferred annuity. In addition to her $157,000 of compensation, that is an additional $36,815 of compensation. Very few of the people in this community have that type of a benefit. Mr. Gaynor, you're in the same boat. You're $155,000 plus, does not include another $36,447 of light compensation. All new parents who are registering their children for kindergarten in your 4 failed elementary schools should be notified that they have the option of Ed Choice scholarships, because yes, you will lose the state allocation of $5,700 or $5,800 per student, but you don't have to educate those kids. You can reduce the teachers, you can reduce your administrative costs, and you won't have to go on the ballot in November again. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Diane Hallam with no topic. Okay, and last we had a person sign up, also Rosalind Hampton asked to speak regarding cheerleading incident.
Good evening. I'm here on behalf of my granddaughter, Chanel Worthing, who is a student at Cleveland Heights High in the 11th grade and has been on the cheerleading team for the past 3 years. That is an extracurricular activity that Chanel loves and does quite well and puts her all into it as she does her schoolwork. Chanel has always carried between a 3.5 and 4.0 her whole school career. On May 8th, an incident occurred among cheerleaders, teenage mess, that Chanel was not involved in, but she wanted them to move away from the table where she was sitting in the cafeteria, so she asked everybody if they had anything to say. And so for this, Chanel was dismissed from the cheerleading team. She walks into practice, and the JV coach tells her that she is no longer on the team. She does not want to hear anything she has to say. I'm at work. My child calls me screaming and crying, and trying to understand why she was dismissed when the JV coach's daughter got in her face and wanted to fight her. But she was not dismissed. And out of the varsity's coach's own mouth, she said the whole team should be dismissed. But then she only makes my child the scapegoat. And she was dismissed unfairly. And I'm deeply disturbed that I had to come to this meeting to address this, the school board meeting to address this, because I feel like this should have been addressed at the school level among the coaches and the administration at the school. The athletic director, and I tried to address this issue with both of them. And on this happened on May 8th. On May 11th, the varsity coach had stated that she was going to contact me. It is now June 2nd, and I have had no response. So this is why I'm here to address this issue. My child has never been in any altercations with anybody, and this has affected her psychological abilities, because now she's thinking what she says to me every day: have you got a response? Did they call you? No, nobody's contacted me. And I'm deeply disturbed that they didn't find it important enough to take a minute to resolve this issue with my child and I. So I'm here to see if this issue can be, if you all can take this issue up and get it resolved. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So that concludes our public address for the evening, and we're going to move on to the superintendent's report.
Okay. Okay, so we have the first of 3 readings for our new course proposal on leadership for change in Heights High for the 2015-2016 school year. Board members, Bob Swaggart was not available to come this evening, but you can send those comments, if you have any, to send them to him via email to be addressed. And again, this is the first of 3 readings before any of these proposals are finalized.
So we don't need to take action?
You do not need to take action tonight. The second item is our third reading and approval of our Neola policies. And I have Dr. Wiley here. She's available to answer any questions that you have regarding any of those policies, as this is the third and final reading. We would need approval tonight.
So should I take a motion? Can I have a motion to approve the policies, and then we'll see if there are any questions?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Wiley on the third reading?
I just had a quick question. I lost the page. I apologize. Give me a second. I had it marked and then I moved my marker. Does anybody else have questions while I'm looking? I'm sorry. Well, it was just a question why how something changed. It's not critical to the vote.
We can give it a minute. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I lost it. It's fine. I'm not going to hold the meeting for this. Okay. I'll just ask her after when I find it.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Gaynor.
Mr. Coble? Yes. Ms. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Silverman? Yes. Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Okay, and the third item is a recommendation to approve the preschool rates for the 2015-2016 school year.
I need a motion to approve the rates, and then we can ask questions or... Okay, moved by Mr. Register, second by Mr. Silverman. Does anybody have any questions on this topic? I guess based on the comments that were made, I would like, what I was hearing it characterized as a non-district activity before this change kind of surprised me, because I don't think of that because they're district employees and it's a district building. It's always been that way.
Correct.
And can you say anything, Mr. Gaynor, to the financial comments that were made?
I can, sure. Only
Related to, it's also not been my understanding that it was fully covered by parent payment.
Oh, that's correct. Yeah, it substantially loses money, and even those are direct costs only. We don't even charge indirect costs. For example, use of the building and those kinds of things. We're talking about the analysis that my department did and provided to the administration when they made their decision was mostly staff. In fact, it looks to be just about all staff to me. So
That's included in the budget as was.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a substantial loss. The program does not support itself, and I think that was one of the reasons that the administration decided to set some limitations.
And we're not trying to make this a fully parent pay program. That will still have the district will still support the preschool program financially.
Yeah, it is a district investment. And districts that look at, and I agree with the statement that we have, and the parents stated we're doing a good job. And when you think about our early, educating our students early, preschool is the way to do that. But preschools are a district investment. And the district says to the community, we feel strongly about educating our students early. And this is the investment that we have, and we have it in the 2 sites that we have it in. But I agree, we're looking at the number of how can we maximize some costs and staffing, but not minimize our program offerings as well. So we had to redesign the program that we had
Follow
currently.
the district calendar.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the comment related to the 2 sites is parent convenience, and we have enrollment at both sites.
Yes, and also space at other schools. So we looked at even looking at offering some preschool sites at other schools, but we don't have the space for them. but we do have the space for.
At Garrity and Noble.
At Garrity and Noble.
Scott, these are the programs that form.
But
Scott, this is the program that formerly was based at Milligan years ago, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I would suspect to a degree, part of the rationale for the two sites actually was when it was in Milligan, it was a little slightly more centralized. When it moved to Garrity, because of the operating costs of Milligan, that I would assume, again, this predates my being here, that more likely than not, from a geographic standpoint, it was to allow access to basically two sections of the community. So that would probably be, my guess would be, also Noble is, if I remember correctly, our largest building as well. So it has the square footage and capacity, as well as Garrity. Those are two buildings that we have the capacity. They're at different parts of the community, so we're able to address it.
okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, what percentage of our costs are covered by the rates?
Well, there are multiple sources that are coming in for the revenue for the programs, but right now, I would say 30%.
30% of the expenses that you consider part of the current budget
Right.
that does not include things like the building,
Correct.
30% are covered by parent payment,
Covered by revenue from all sources,
revenue from all sources.
which would be some grant funding, revenue from parents, and some special education funding we get through the foundation,
Okay.
state foundation.
State foundation payment, okay.
So the majority of the expense for the program is coming from general fund.
Correct.
But that does not include costs building costs and those kind of, a lot of incidentals pretty much are put inside of our other cost structure then. They're not completely assigned to the program.
The program.
So we don't assign them, here's a dollar amount for heat, utilities, and what have you. We don't do that.
Correct.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Mr. Hoffman suggested this program, he described it as an awesome program, and you verified it, that recognizing the fact that once you have budgetary issues, and just every day for that matter, there's sometimes lesser of evil decisions that have to be made. Have we looked at what the impact of this decision will be on this particular program, or is there a way for us, has there been a way for us to judge the impact on the program?
I think if, Dr. Selico, if you can come up, please.
Essentially, we are offering all the same number of sections, the same programming. So students will still be able to attend from 7 in the morning till 6 p.m. So that has not been compromised. We were looking at reducing a half a section just based on enrollment, but that looks like it may be spiking up. So we may be adding that section back in. Just depends on if we have the enrollment. We were down at one point, just a couple months ago, down 30 students, that we had 30 slots that were unfilled. And we were able, as time goes on with the unique thing about preschool is as kids turn 3, they can enroll. So that could be in November, December, January, February, March, etc. And as they qualify for special needs, so that can happen year round. So our numbers did get a little bit inflated. The one piece, and I think that Mr. Hoffman has addressed, is that we will not be having preschool during 2 breaks, spring break and winter break and summer. That's the biggest aspect being affected. As far as programming is concerned, we did make some reductions in staff, but we are staffing it based on, it all complies with state guidelines, and so we're in compliance in every way, and that many of the surrounding districts do. We're just following in line. Not that we can't be unique or different, but that's where we're at.
Anyone else? No. Mr. Gaynor?
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Silverman?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Mr. Koval?
Yes.
So the next item is approval of field trip. So we have the Delisle Option Center Alternative Program is planning a field trip to London, England, but it's scheduled in February 2016. And part of this field trip, they're going to do some fundraising. So we put it on agenda item so we can make you aware. But it is a year away, 2016.
Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
questions or comments? I guess I'll just clarify and just to be clear, because there are a lot of people paying attention to
Yes.
such things. All of the student cost is from fundraising.
Yes.
So the district calls these things field trips because that's legally what we're required to call them, but the district is not paying for kids to go to London, to be clear.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
Maybe, I just always need to say that, because technically it's called a field trip, but
Right.
like almost every one of these types of things we approve, whether they be to California for lacrosse or to Memphis for singers or
Yes.
whatever it is, the kids raise money, the families raise money or pay money, the community donates. It doesn't come out of the district's budget.
And Mr. Gaynor, these funds are, the district, the money is fundraised into an account that the district manages, or they? run?
Generally, yes.
Okay, so generally, basically, to a degree, that also adds why we had to sign off on it, because once the money's come in, if the money's gonna go out, you have to sign on it, otherwise the auditors come and yell at you.
Correct.
And we have to approve kids leaving the district
Exactly.
That as
on
well.
a school-related trip. But thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Gaynor?
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Silverman?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Mr. Coble? Yes. Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Okay, and the last item is a partnership with Cleveland Clinic, and if I can have Dr. Jeffrey Johnson come forth and his team to do a brief presentation to let you know about a wonderful partnership that we are moving forward with. Dr. Johnson?
Good evening.
Hello.
I have the opportunity tonight to speak with you regarding our work with the Cleveland Clinic mobile unit. Cleveland Clinic's school-based health center is a mobile, full-service pediatric office staffed with clinic health professionals. The mobile unit will visit our schools, provide care regularly throughout the school year as a partnership between the district and Cleveland Clinic Children's. We're joined tonight by Aviva Clayman and Kathy Quinn Welsh, from Cleveland Clinic Children's. Aviva has been working diligently with the district to ensure this service is available for our students in the upcoming school year. We anticipate presenting an agreement to the board for your review this summer. And Kathy is a school-based school-based healthcare provider in Maple Heights, and is a real champion for school-based healthcare programs. So we invited Aviva and Kathy tonight to share some brief remarks about the program. And again, you'll be receiving more information in the summer. Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm Aviva, this is Kathy. And I'll turn it over to Kathy actually to share a little bit about her experience in Maple Heights and what we hope to bring in partnership with you to the district.
First of all, I've been a registered nurse for 39 years and a nurse practitioner for 25 of those 39 years. I am a completely pediatric nurse practitioner, so I take care of children from a day old to 21 years old in my scope of practice. I am in community pediatrics now for children's. My primary site is Chagrin Falls, but we started school-based healthcare in Maple Heights last October. We went live. We have a 42-foot mobile unit that has 2 exam rooms, and then of course a central area for the children to come to. All of it is not an urgent care, it is not an emergent care, it is strictly for wellness, minor injuries, and of course, very, very importantly, for immunization, catch-up or administration. So we, of course, capture the children through the school nurse, through the health aides, for them to identify who they feel could benefit from us being here once a week on the mobile unit. Whether it's difficult for them to follow up with a primary care provider, we still encourage that, but we are here mainly so that children can remain in school, that school attendance and their performance in school is enhanced. If the children are consented by their parents, then which has to be done, a child cannot just show up at the unit, nor the school nurse schedule them with us without the written permission and all of the registration from the parents, and then of course fed into our electronic medical record. The child is then scheduled by the school nurse to see me the following week for maybe asthma issues that our child's not controlled, continues to miss class, and we can help tweak or engage them in further education of their family for their controller medications. Asthma, as you all know, is a huge childhood school issue, absenteeism. Other things could be Johnny gets belly pain every day at noon and has had workup. He could come to me, ear infections, strep throat, fevers. If the child can't physically, meaning that he's so ill he can't get to the mobile unit, he or she does not qualify for the mobile unit. So it's mainly to keep children in school, enhance performance, school attendance, so that they have us to rely on to keep them there or get them connected to the right services through their primary care provider or mental health issues, behavioral issues. And we are thrilled about doing it. Of course, it's nationally. There's some areas that are very, very well established and advanced, but we have started this in the past year and are moving forward and would love to be involved with Cleveland Heights, University Heights.
Thank you.
Any questions?
We're happy to take questions.
Well, the school nurse has to refer, so it's not self-refer. And how are these visits paid for?
Great question. So all visits on the mobile unit would be billed. Just like coming to a Cleveland Clinic office, we would bill for services. If a child has insurance, we would bill their insurance. If a child does not have insurance, we would work with a financial counselor prior to the appointment, just like if you were coming to a Cleveland Clinic facility to help that family navigate to ensure a child would have insurance. With the Affordable Care Act, most children do have access to insurance products for care.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Anyone else?
opportunity.
Oh, sorry.
How frequently would you be in the area? Did I understand 2 days, or was that a week?
Great question. So the goal is to be here at Cleveland Heights, University Heights in the district 1 day a week. We have one mobile unit. Today it is going to Lakewood, Euclid, and Maple Heights, each 1 day a week. So if we saw that utilization, meaning the mobile unit was totally full and we filled that day, we would look at adding another day at Cleveland Heights if the district was interested, or look at extending our hours or looking at how we would meet the needs of your students in the district.
And is it still being determined where in the district?
Yes. As we're working through the agreement, the first step is a needs assessment to determine where our greatest need is. And so we would work closely with the clinic to conduct that.
Just a real quick question. Kathy, you mentioned that other than just health, that school attendance and school performance, one of the goals was the enhancing those two areas. Is there, I mean, anecdotally it makes sense, but is there data that supports that?
Yes. First of all, even if it is a child that I diagnose it with infection has to go home, it of course helps the family so that then they don't have to come home from work, find the child ill, and go to an urgent care or emergency room for a non-urgent medical problem. So not only financially, but family dynamic-wise and family coverage, because then if the child's treated, that mother or father could actually most likely go back to work tomorrow because the children will have had 24 hours or had the availability to find coverage for that child the following day. So daytime is much better than sitting in an ER, as we all know, in the evening. And so that's the other minor illness, minor injury capturing those children so that it helps the family all the way around.
And if I may, there's a significant body of evidence, both in the educational literature as well as in the healthcare literature around this particular topic, because school-based health centers are not a new phenomenon. They've been around for many years in different incarnations. And so we would be happy to share some of those articles when we submit the contract with the board or in follow-up to this meeting.
And then the only other question I have for you, and again, I'm sure you cover this, but from a HIPAA standpoint, are there particular issues with the mobile unit that come into play?
Yeah, we are spending a significant amount of time making sure that we're in compliance with those. And it really has been a very nice working partnership and process with Aviva and with the Cleveland Clinic to work through that. They have some very stringent things they must maintain, as do we. So we're working through a very clear consent process that ensures that any information that is shared is done so with full understanding, with full consent.
And Kathy, you mentioned, and you may have said which age groups you're targeting, but when you said that parental consent, does that include our 18-year-olds?
No, the 18-year-old legally can fill out his or her own paperwork, right. Correct. Right. And the child, of course, has to be in the district.
Right.
Yeah, so no matter what.
Just one other thing. I feel like it's a little silly even saying it out loud because you've probably thought about this, Jeff, but I would really hope that if we do go forward with this, if everything works out, that we can find a way to use this as another opportunity for an education for our students in the certified health careers, is that what it's called? In the RCT program, and really have a plan to do that so that they can learn that this is another option for them in the healthcare industry.
We have talked about that, and we know that the clinic is certainly eager to help with that as well.
Great.
And there's a couple other kind of tangential things that we're excited about. One is that we introduced the Special Olympics this past year, and one of the issues for us and our families is getting that medical clearance. And so we feel like if we have a partner like the Cleveland Clinic and a mobile unit, it's going to assist us a great deal with that. And then we've also talked about athletic physicals and different things that people require. We may be able to facilitate that a little bit more efficiently. So that's just two more examples.
Anything else? Thanks.
One fun fact. I grew up in Cleveland Heights, and I did go to Noble School for kindergarten.
And I live here at University Heights, so we're committed to this district.
Thank you. Thank you. And my final comments I would like to make in my superintendent's report is regarding our stage crew. I wish Akash was still here. I think he's gone. And the student, Akash, who spoke, he did send me an email. And he stated how he was, the stage crew really changed him and gave him a venue to work in some areas behind the stage. And we, at no time, ever made a decision that we will eliminate stage crew. We understand that stage crew is a viable organization at the high school, and is something that we are committed to keeping. I've had some conversations actually today with our union president, Ari, to brainstorm on some different ways that we could redesign the position of stage director, and really looking at how the needs meet our standards today. And so this position has been around, I've been told, over 40 years. And we know that those, this directing 40 years ago behind the scenes is very different as we move forward. And Ari has agreed to, that we will work collaboratively in coming up with redesigning what that position would look like and moving forward, and I'll bring a recommendation back to the board based on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to personnel. I believe I can take items E1 through 7 together. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments, gentlemen? Nope. Mr. Gaynor?
Mr. Silverman?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Mr. Koval?
Yes.
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Okay, and now on to the fun stuff. Just kidding. It is fun, I know. Steve's giving me the look.
Which,
Business services, both Steves.
This is the best section.
So, I believe we have to take items F1 through 5 individually.
Well, we have to do A first,
What?
what did you do, Rob? Say?
right?
We have to what?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was
Okay.
looking at my agenda.
Oh, that's okay, that's okay.
Sorry.
So
Sorry,
so
that's right,
before
F1.
Mr. Chirgalis gives us a little info on item F1, I'd like a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Chirgalis.
So the first item is the recommendation to approve the demolition and abatement GMP for the high school. And that project includes
The guaranteed maximum price.
That's the guaranteed
Yeah.
maximum price, that's right. And that is the work that will start the project. That's the, we have some asbestos-containing materials that we've been managing in place for many years through our HERA management plan. And those have to be removed now that we are starting to do the demolition. And then, of course, all the related demolition of the structure. So we will coordinate closely with the moving team and in terms of getting staff out of the building, getting materials and so forth out of the building, and then preserving historic artifacts, salvaging those things that have been identified to be salvaged. And then your action tonight on this GMP will start the process and give us the go-ahead to start the work. And I want to just back up. This is the first of 3 GMPs that we will do for the high school project. So there'll be a second GMP that will include work for the structure and site work that we will look at bring for your approval in July. And then the balance of the high school work, which is all the other trades to complete that project, will come before the board at the August meeting. That's our proposed schedule right now. So this is the first action. The dollar value you see here is within our budget, is right on budget for that portion of the work.
Any questions or comments about this?
I had shared with you folks, I had some concerns. I met with the staff this morning at 7:30, and as I've been very diligent, they addressed those. A couple of the highlights, I guess, more for the Facilities Accountability Committee and the archives component. The floors on the main east-west hallway, which we've talked a lot about, floor tiles, those are one of the 2 remaining architectural elements. Those are going to be preserved during the demolition process, as well as the banisters and the staircase, the 226 staircases. Those will be preserved as well, which will save us money because we have to rip them out. And also, there's a very large laundry list of things like the display cases with the trophies, architectural elements. There's a number of, excuse me, of, not awards, plaques and things that we have in the courtyard. There's still a matter of where's it going to go for the final disposition, but those elements are also, there's a punch list, there's someone responsible for it, so all of those elements are going to be taken care of. So I appreciate meeting with staff this morning, and pretty much my concerns are all addressed, so I'm completely comfortable with this.
Thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
Anyone else have questions on this one? I had just one. If you look on page 4 of 6 of the Gilbane document, Steve, it talks about the brick salvage.
Yes.
Limited to 1,500 palletized brick.
Right.
And then excludes chipping or cleaning mortar, an alternate price for another 2,000 square feet of brick salvage is available.
Right.
Help me understand that.
Right, that's, while they're doing the demolition, there may be areas of the original building on the exterior where they're going to have to do some brick
Right.
patching, and this will
Oh,
allow them.
just the 1,500
Right, that's
isn't-
right. This
okay.
will allow them to match that brick perfectly,
Okay.
rather than trying to buy a new brick, which will never match exactly
Yeah,
right.
okay.
So, yeah.
Just to be clear, that it says 1,500 brick, and then later 2,000 square foot brick. Is it 1,500 square foot brick in that passage you just mentioned, or 1,500 bricks?
I think it's square feet,
Yeah,
square feet.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's square
I
feet.
mean,
yeah.
that would parallel the structure.
Yeah.
I just want to
Yeah.
make sure that we're clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Gaynor?
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Mr. Koble?
Yes.
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Silverman?
Yes.
Okay, I need a motion to approve item F2, the recommendation to approve the Delisle Auto Tech GMP.
So moved.
Second.
So this is the work, the Auto Tech program needs a home while the high school project is underway, and the decision was made to move it to the Delisle building. And that's why this portion of work is being pulled out, and you're approving it separately, and we're going to move ahead to get it done this summer, so that come the fall, there's a place for the Auto Tech program to be. Throughout the design process, of course, the decision was made that this would also be the permanent home of the Auto Tech program. But again, the reason it's being pulled out and done ahead of time like this summer is because they need a home for the fall. And this includes all the work to create the space to work on the vehicles and the exterior parking area that they need. And so this is a complete package to provide the space that is needed for that program. And again, this work is also right on our budget.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Just, so basically, the auto program will be the first beneficiaries of their new spaces then? Is that correct? We could do it later.
That's right.
Mr. Gaynor?
Mr. Koble?
Yes.
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Silverman?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
I need a motion to approve item F3, the interim high school field house GMP.
So moved.
Second.
So, of course, we made the decision to maintain the stadium in operation during the time that the high school is under construction. But we also need to have space, locker space for the students, coaches space, spaces for the referees, for trainer space, storage, and so forth. And so during this interim period, while the high school is not in operation and under construction, we're bringing modular units in to the stadium site that will accommodate all of those program needs for the athletic program that's going to be using the stadium. So that's what this work is for.
Where will they be placed?
They are going to be on what would be the home side to the north, kind of where that drive came around.
Okay.
Right there. Yes, that's where they'll be.
And these spaces are going to be used by any program, any athletic program that is using the track and field complex.
That's correct.
And so it'll be year-round. So this isn't merely locker rooms for football games.
Right.
This is ostensibly, instead of us sending our kids off to another complex and having to pay rent for 2
That's
years, we're not, unfortunately, it's temporary as opposed to a permanent structure, but it's saving, I should say, it's far easier and more convenient, and theoretically even as a cost savings of busing kids to who knows where for 2 years.
It would be very challenging to find alternative football facilities, and this does give us the opportunity to have them at their home field throughout the duration.
Because I know we had that large list of all the temporary facilities, the other for competitions, for where basketball and what have you. So this is, at least for the track and field programs and anything that's related to that field, we have something that's at least home space.
That's right.
Any others? Mr. Gaynor?
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Silverman?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Mr. Koble?
Yes.
All right. I need a motion to approve item F4, the lease agreement between the Board of Ed and the Visconsi companies.
So moved.
Second.
So during our negotiations with University Heights to move the high school to the Wiley campus while the high school is under construction, one of the commitments we made was around adequate parking for that site. In order to meet those requirements, we identified a parking space that is just across the street, just across Miramar. That'd be to the west, thank you, to the west. It is an on-surface parking space. There's about 130 spaces there, and it is part of the University Square complex. And we made some initial contacts with the owner of that facility. Unfortunately, that owner went out of business, went bankrupt. The facility went into receivership. We are now working, the Visconsi companies represent the bondholders for that facility and have the legal authority to enter into a lease agreement with us for that parking space. So that is what this action is for. And that parking is for staff.
And the students will park on site at Wiley?
Students will park on site.
And another clarification, I know we've said this many times, but I always want to say it, it's not in the garage. It's not in that
right, it's an on-surface parking
University
space.
Square
That's
garage.
right.
It's surface parking.
So these would be between the apartment building
Well, there are
and
people who are
to the
frightened.
south of the apartment building, correct?
Yes.
And I believe there's a gate exit, so the people don't have to, staff doesn't have to walk around. There's
Right.
a gate there.
Right, there's an opening through there that they can, there's an opening through the fence they can get through. And there's a sidewalk right from the parking lot through the grass area down to the sidewalk on Miramar, so they can get across.
And our staff, we are plowing the lot, so
We are. We're going to plow. We'll maintain. We'll probably put some signage up that indicates that this is our, CHUH parking and so forth.
Now, if we have an event at the Wiley in the evening, are those spaces, I guess, do we have a protocol as far as how those spaces would be allocated?
Those are ours to use at any time.
So like performances, musical performances, which will be at
That's
Wiley.
correct.
My suggestion, people are going to probably park there anyway. My recommendation and suggestion will be that we encourage staff to park there first for an event to allow parents and what have you to use the spaces on Wiley. But yeah, invariably people are going to park there anyway.
Any other comments? Mr. Gaynor?
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Silverman?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Mr. Koval?
Yes.
Ms. Pepler?
Yes. And I need a motion to approve item F5, the resolution authorizing an execution of a lease agreement between the Board of Ed and New Song Church.
So moved.
Second.
Mr.
So
Carroll.
actually, this is a lease proposal. The final lease we plan to bring to you at the June 16th meeting. This is a nice partnership with the New Song Church, who have been utilizing the old Severance Athletic Center. And the second floor of that facility was a weight exercise area when it was a health club. And it's a perfect spot for our weight training facility for our athletes. And so we'll be moving our equipment up there, and they don't really use that space, so it really worked out very well for us. And so as I said, we'll bring a formal lease to the board at the probably the June meeting.
Any comments or questions?
Have we thought about just transportation issues of getting people to and from there?
Yes, we have thought about them, and we're working through those details right now. Yeah.
Mr. Gaynor?
Mr. Silverman?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Mr. Koval?
Yes.
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
I believe we can take items F6 through 10 together.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second.
And while I don't think we need to go through each of these, if you could sort of explain this concept to folks.
So we are obligated to provide transportation to students who live in our district but go to attend non-public schools. And based on the Higher Revised Code, and I'm going to read in a minute, there are criteria that allow us, rather than actually offering the transportation or providing the transportation service, allow us to pay them a small stipend in lieu of providing the transportation, and that's where the phrase in lieu of comes from. The requirements are: 1, the time and distance required to provide the transportation; 2 is the number of pupils to be transported; 3 is the cost of providing transportation in terms of equipment, maintenance, personnel, and administration; 4 is whether similar or equivalent service is provided to other pupils; 5, whether and to what extent the additional service unavoidably disrupts current transportation schedules; and 6, whether other reimbursable types of transportation are available. So those are the criteria that we look at. And in this case, in each of these schools, we have very low numbers. We have buses. Because the students are scattered around throughout the district, we have a large bus that's on the road, and it's really very costly. And so this is an opportunity for us to pretty significantly reduce our operational costs, impacting a relatively few students.
And my understanding, Steve, is that from conversation, that in a lot of these instances, we may have, I'm making this up, but we may have 5 kids who we have to transport to a school on a list, but in any given day, there might be one child riding the bus because parents provide transportation the other day, so we're driving a bus out.
Right, and that happens on every bus, on every route. We have, we schedule 30 or 40 children to ride on that bus, and on any given day there may only be 10 or 15. In this case, we're scheduling 10 or 15 children, or even 5, and only 1 or 2 or 3 are actually riding. Yeah. So yes, it is impacting a very few number of students overall. And the High Revised Code, puts this provision in to allow districts to be financially prudent in the use of their funds in terms of providing this service to non-public students.
And there's a set amount that we pay families in lieu of that
there
transportation.
There is. The state of Ohio sets that amount, that in lieu of payment, yes.
Okay. Is it the same?
It is. It's the same.
Steve, just for my own edification, I know traditionally we transport a lot of students, and that's why we have so many buses. It's approximately, I think, the majority of those students is it still the majority of those students are non-public school students, or is it usually
it's pretty close?
It's about 50-50.
It's pretty close.
Okay.
It's roughly 50-50. Okay. That's right.
So approximately almost in any given, if I say about half of our students are non-public students on the buses.
Pretty close, yes.
And we service it, and I know when we've seen that it's an enormous number. Thank goodness for the software now, because it's an enormous scheduling logistical challenge.
It is.
Any other? Mr. Gaynor?
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Mr. Coble?
Yes.
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Silverman?
Yes.
Okay, could I have a motion to approve items 11A through K?
So moved.
Second.
Which are donations. Any comments on this section? Thank you, other than thank you.
And being grateful, that's right.
Mr. Gaynor?
Mr. Coble?
Yes.
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Silverman?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
And item F12 is a correction to how a donation was listed at a previous board meeting. So can I have a motion to approve item F12?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gaynor?
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Silverman?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Mr. Coble?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And moving on to finance. Oh, okay. So can I take items G1 through 4 together? A motion to approve items G1 through 4.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gaynor?
I will mention, because we have at least one item here that's not typical, number 2, the Appropriation Adjustment Authority. So we're at the end of the fiscal year, we're closing the books, and so this is you giving me the authority to make any appropriation adjustments, which then will ultimately be brought back to you in July, so that you can see exactly what adjustments were made. But the auditors want to see this in advance of the action. Similarly, the number 3 and number 4 are auditor requirements in terms of those new procedures we have for stale dated checks and transfer of funds.
Any questions or comments? Mr. Gaynor?
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Silverman?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Mr. Coble?
Yes.
Ms. Beckler?
Yes. All right, on to the board president's report. So I guess I have just a few things to say. For me, and I think for all of us, the end of the year is really not only a time of transition, but it's a time of a lot of emotion. I always, every year at graduation, this year being no exception, I get teary because it's so, and I'm being very sincere, it's so nice to not only see the culmination of all of the great work of our students and teachers and everybody else who supported them, but seeing the relationships that have been built and how emotional the students get about saying goodbye to people that have meant so much to them is really, really nice for me to see. So I very much enjoyed this year's graduation. And the end of the year performances, the musical performances were fabulous. I think we mentioned it before, but the ceremony for the end of the life of the current Heights High, I don't remember what we called that ceremony, Angie, I'm sorry, but that was really, really a nice but cold event. And this year is really special because of beginning demolition and construction. All of those items that we just approved, it's going to be a time of great change in this community and an exciting time. I think this community hasn't seen the kind of action that we're going to see on the corner of Cedar and Lee for a really long time, and it's going to be great for the community. I think while there will be some adjustments, I think it'll be great for local business owners. I know that we've talked to City Council and others in the city about how we can try to connect all of the staff and workers who are here during that time to support local businesses. So I think there are going to be some great things going on, and that work continues over the summer. We're going to continue with the strategic planning work, and that has been a great deal of work, not just the vision statement, it's comical to me how that's been the thing that everybody wants to talk about when it was a huge piece of work. We're going to continue. We've asked the superintendent and the treasurer to work to identify budget savings so that we can make the right decision in moving forward on the levy. Clearly, we did hear from the community that they did not support the levy as we put it forward, but that doesn't mean that the district doesn't need the resources, that we won't have to return at some point to this community, whether it be November or any other time, for a property tax increase. Sadly, that is the way schools are funded in the state of Ohio. And I wish that Mr. Cantor were still here, because I would say that while, yes, we absolutely took an oath, I took an oath, we all took an oath to represent all of our community, whether they're people who support us or not, or our schools or not, or send our kids to the schools or not. We also took an oath, and I don't know exactly how it was phrased, but to do the right thing for our students and our families and our community and our district. And I take that oath very seriously too. So if we were never to return to our voters and ask for their support, we can't do it without their support. So it's not, it has to be passed at the ballot box. If we were never to do that, our only job up here would be to sit at every single meeting and make more and more and more cuts, because we would have no other choice. You can't, it's not, we would just have to, every time we would meet, we would have to identify additional cuts. So there are two parts to that oath that I took. And the other piece that I wanted to say is that I know that the district's working very hard on the transition to Wiley.
Yes.
I think that the work that you did with getting the students out there, it's gotten through the two students that
that it looks great.
Yes, yes.
And that it's not trailers.
Right,
They're
right.
beautiful temporary modules that I know my daughters are gonna actually like when they get there next year. It's gonna be a tough transition, but as we've all said, the modular units are nicer than a lot of the classroom space that they have right now at the high school. So while it's going to be tough for all of us to make that transition, I think that we're doing the right thing for the students. So that's my board president's report. Do we have any unfinished business? New business? Any board committee reports?
Am I the only one who goes to, has committee reports, or?
Eric, you say that every time.
Well, yeah, because I'm the only one, okay,
You're not
my
always.
committees.
In this case, you are, though.
In this case, you might
Tonight,
be,
you may be.
but
Why is tonight different from every other night? I have two reports and a comment. The Alumni Foundation is happy to report that they awarded over $37,000 in scholarship money at Senior Awards, which was the most they've ever done. And so I'll have to give a thank you to the Mendez family for giving a significant portion of that as well. Also, for those who are in need of Tiger Nation spirit wear, if you go online or at the next sale, all of these one-color t-shirts, sweatshirts are on sale for the summer. So take advantage of those savings, stock up. If we have staff who are in need of additional spirit wear, now's the time to buy. At the last Facilities Accountability Committee, I think pretty much some of the issues I brought up at the last meeting pretty much were the same ones that were brought up again. I will mention, because I'd be remiss if I didn't, one of the suggestions that was mentioned somewhere, I was at a different meeting, was the possibility of having, I know the design team, Beechwood did a student report, a live cam, once a week, interviewing the architects, what's going on. So a citizen has suggested that we should have that as well. So I think that, and one of the things I know I mentioned to the superintendent is something as regard to rejuvenating the student newspaper in black and gold. So perhaps this may be a way to turbocharge that. So I think that would be a possibility.
that's a nice connection.
So, and then the last one, well, unfortunately, I don't think Mr. Ross and Mr. Reed are still here, but graduation was last night, and of my 11 graduations, I think this was probably the best one that I've attended. I like a very quiet and traditional audience or event, which is always a challenge these days. I will say that conversely, if I'm going to hear a lot of noise, I'd rather be the students than the audience, and I think that this year was definitely of the 11 I've attended, this was definitely the best.
This was the kids, this class felt together in a way that was really nice to see.
So yeah, I was very, the venue was great. I think definitely one of the best, if not the best reunion, or not reunion, graduation ceremony I've attended.
Thank you. Any correspondence and announcements?
I just have a brief announcement. Just speaking for myself and not the board, I was just struck by one of the comment that was made this evening about the fact that the voters had spoken, and so that we should not be going back on the ballot. And which, as you pointed out, not only is that physically impossible for us to do, but it would also negate all future elections. That the voters of the United States clearly chose Barack Obama, so the Republicans should not bother to field a candidate again. If that was what they clearly spoke. And likewise, the voters in Ohio have chosen a Republican governor, so the Democrats should not bother to field a candidate. It seems that all elections would come to a stop if the previous election was the last word going forward on how they've behaved, and I don't quite understand that reasoning.
And every school district in the state of Ohio that loses a levy election eventually puts it back on and eventually wins at some point.
Right, exactly.
It might be a year later, 6 months later, 5 years later, because that's the way schools are funded in this state. As I said before, we hate it, but it's the way schools are funded.
And I'm just going to echo your sentiment, Nancy. I'm really glad you said it, that you said it as a personal, so I'll say as a personal as well. My oath of office is to do what's best for the students of this district, and that is my primary oath of office. So people will disagree with that, but that is the reason I'm on the board.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gaynor?
Mr. Coble?
Yes.
Ms. Bepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Silverman?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.